With the centre differential nestled into its new position on the main chassis, it's time to move our attention onto the remaining differentials, starting with the front and Kit Bag D, front gearbox assembly. You'll need both threadlock and black grease for this bag, so keep them handy, and let's get going by spilling out the contents of Bag D. As with previous items, all sections of the buggy seem really nicely produced. The plastic gearbox is pretty much moulded to perfection, although let's see how nicely this thing bolts together. We start by inserting a bearing into either side of the bulkhead. It's the same size on both sides. Before feeding the differential pinion gear through both bearings from the inside out, and dropping on a 2mm shim, after which the front centre differential, complete with its coupler attached, can sit on top. Note the flat section of the inserted coupler though. Insert a 4mm set screw and tighten down into place onto that flat section, with some thread lock applied here too, of course. Give the coupler a few turns, making sure everything is nice and free. Perfect. When ready, we can now insert the front differential, so that's the one with the 7000 weight oil marked F7. Some shims are included but may not be required. Check fitment carefully upon inserting the differential and only use the shims if they're needed. I actually used both in my build, which gave me an absolute perfect fit. After which we can proceed to cover with the top half of the bulkhead and seal into place with two 14mm caphead screws. Note that you'll need to screw all the way in so they're nice and snug, and then ensure the differential is free moving, otherwise you may need to back off the screws a little to make sure there's no binding. Finally, turn the bulkhead over and apply some grease around the entire ring gear. You don't need to go crazy with the grease here, just a small amount going around the gear, as it helps to reduce temperatures and makes the set last longer. At this point, I like to slowly turn the diff coupler, as well as the differential itself, just to get that grease spread around the ring gear and pinion, and to check everything is turning nice and freely. We can then proceed to seal up the bulkhead by placing the final plastic piece on the bottom, and securing into place using two 6mm flatted screws, again taking care not to over tighten and strip out any threads. Give the differential another turn, making sure it's spinning nice and free. If it doesn't, make sure you haven't over tightened the outer case screws. Time to get the new split design metal front shock tower installed at this point. We'll start by getting the shock standoffs installed. While we have 3 positions to fine tune, we'll stick with a stock build for now, so going for the middle hole. Insert a 10mm button head screw, complete with some thread lock applied, and screw into a shock standoff, before repeating on the opposite side. The tower is now ready to be secured to the main front gearbox. Position on the front side, to the side opposite the coupler, and secure with 14mm caphead screws, 2 on either side. And with that, Bag D is complete. All parts fit together with perfection, no problems at all. Next, we'll repeat a similar process for the rear bulkhead assembly and Kit Bag E.